What's up, everyone, and welcome to Monday's edition of Reptile News. Now, I'm not 100% sure how long this one is going to last because I really only found one story that I wanted to talk about, but then as the more I thought about it, the more kind of added to it. And that story is the very first black-tailed rattlesnake has been found in a central Texas county since 1953, and this story just absolutely amazed me. 1953 is the last time that one was seen in Travis County, and usually, I mean, just my opinion here, usually if you've seen one rattlesnake, you've seen a million rattlesnakes, but I was looking at this one and it's just absolutely beautiful. Now, the owner of Austin Reptile Service, Tim Cole, was called out and apparently found this one, and it's really interesting. He uses an app called iNaturalist Citizen Scientist Database, which it's kind of awesome because you take a picture and it obviously has GPS coordinates with the picture, and I'm definitely going to look into this app. Now, Tim says that the black-tailed rattlesnake is a lot calmer than like its western counterparts, making it much easier to capture and photograph. And he also says he happens to know that there's only been one found in Travis County, which was back in 1953, 65 years ago. So it's absolutely amazing. You know, I often think, I don't know how to explain this, so I've gotten in multiple debates over the years over what keeps a particular species in a particular range. For example, I believe the long-nosed leopard lizard lives just over the hill from me, so what's to keep them from coming over the hill over to here? I wouldn't think much of anything other than the journey. I mean, obviously it's weird. It gets, because you got the long-nosed leopard lizard over the hill in Nevada, then the blunt-nosed leopard lizard just down south from me here in California, if I remember their ranges properly, which I'm pretty sure I do. And I always wondered, if one made it over the hill, would the climate here be okay for it to live in? And it was just very, very interesting, especially with global warming is another very good example. Are more southern species going to start moving up north? It's just something that I've always been interested in. And one thing I remember many years ago, going over to Smith Valley, Nevada, and we started in Gardnerville, and I think we head down 205 south, I believe, if I remember right, to Smith Valley, Nevada, which is pretty much, if I remember it right, it's like a hay farming community down there. But we're driving down the road, and the guy I was with just slams on the brakes and jumps out of the car, and he found a horned lizard on the side. I don't know how the hell he saw it driving down this desert road. It was camouflaged so good, but it's the first time I've ever seen a horned lizard. And I talk to locals here where I live, and they talk about growing up here and finding horned lizards all over the place. I'll tell you what, guys, I have looked for reptiles in this area for well over 20 years now, and I have never ever seen a horned lizard here. But these people talk about growing up and seeing them all the time, so that was really interesting stuff. But I'd really like to know what you think in those comments down below about species that either have been absent from an area for multiple years. What kind of stuff do you have where you come from, wherever that may be, anywhere in the world really, and what kind of reintroduction options are there for some of these, like the horned lizard down here, or perhaps the black-tailed rattlesnake there in Travis County, Texas. And on that note, Tim is actually keeping this animal. He says the chances of it finding a mate out in the wild is slim to none, being 65 years since the last one was found. So he's actually keeping this one in captivity, and says that there will be blood work and stuff done on it many years down the road once it passes away. So it's an amazing story coming out of Texas. I really enjoy it, and I really wish I had more to talk about today, but the more and more I delved into this, just the more interesting it became. And as well as with some of my own discoveries, I'll go into another one really quick, really briefly, right around the 6,000 or 7,000 foot range from which I would still consider my area, maybe hours drive away. Years ago, we flipped a rotten log, and there was this weird, clearly it was a snake. It was just right off, clearly snake, nothing like I've ever seen before in my life. And I pulled out my National Audubon Field Guide to North American Reptiles and Amphibians, which I carry with me everywhere I go, and identified it as a rubber boa. I did not even know, of all the years looking for snakes and lizards up here, that I didn't even know those were a thing. So it's pretty awesome. I've never found another one. I've looked for them after that. Never found another one, and I was similarly introduced to sharp-tailed snakes the same way. But I'm very interested to know what you guys have in your area and what you're finding, and what you found back in the day and don't find now, and let's just get a conversation going about this topic. Leave a comment down below, and that, my friends, has been all your news for this Monday. If you'd like to read any more about these stories, those links are right down below here in the description. And as always, if you're still watching, my name is Jason White. Now you know what's going on in the reptile world. Be good to each other, and we'll see you Wednesday.